Welcome to our weekly live stream. Today we're talking about, well, shopping for electric cars. This year, 2019, lots of new electric cars, decent electric cars with over 200-mile range are on the market already. Starting January and February, but there's a few more coming out at the end of this year and even in the beginning of the next year to consider. I am myself in a bit of a pickle. As you can see, this is my Chevy Bolt, which I originally bought to commute from here to the Bay Area because I visit there maybe once or twice per month. But once my last Tesla Model S lease expired, I did not replace it with anything, and I'm still kind of looking, soul searching. Now, granted that now that I'm doing this full time, I can't rely on my nice, cushy Silicon Valley salary. Obviously, budgeting comes to my mind. I want to be responsible. I don't know where this journey takes me. Obviously, I've took a big hit doing this full time, at least for now. But at the same time, I think I'm kind of a blending in with most of the electric car community that have very similar choices. So let's go over everything that's out there right now. We can talk about pricing. We can talk about features, and then what's coming up. And then I'm going to take some questions from the audience. I see there's a few people already asking questions. I'll get to it. Don't forget that the highest super chat today will give you an invitation to co-host this show with me for 10 minutes or so next time around. So let's get that going as well. And I do appreciate all of the contributions. Just like I said, I do this full time, so it does matter to me. So let's get going. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric. Welcome to E4Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button. And also, if you've done that already, don't forget about that bell notification icon. And huge thank you to all of my Patreons for supporting my channel, particularly one of the newer Patreons, Hang Pilot. No first name or no last name, just Hang Pilot, like Prince or Madonna. I like that. So thank you for supporting my channel. That's the only place where you can watch me live every day. As a matter of fact, when I finish my weekly stream that I'm in the middle of right now, I'm going to go to Patreons and patreon.com and do 2 of my videos that you will later see on YouTube. So my Patreons get to watch me live and they get to support me, obviously. Lots of other perks. Go to patreon.com/E4Electric if you want to support my channel there. All right, so let's talk about the choices that we now have. And, obviously, let's just start with Tesla and Tesla Model S. That's the car that I had before. I had 3 Tesla Model S cars. So for the first one I got in 2012, I was one of the first owners, first 3,000 owners, and went through 3 of them. As you know, my ownership experience wasn't that great, but at the same time, it's still one of the best cars on the market. I mean, along with Model X. So there's a desire in me to drive the best car on the market, despite of essentially what I consider an abusive relationship between me and Tesla's customer service. And I think a few people can attest to that as well. So the problem with Teslas, especially with Model S this year, is because, as you know, until about a month ago when they came up with the Raven version, essentially Tesla Model S was very outdated. You could get a Model 3, even like the stripped out version, and would have more tech almost in every most important category. And Tesla kind of abandoned the Model S until about a month ago when they came up with a refreshed insides, the better battery, the better charging rate, the newer computer and the chip. So all of a sudden, it was like, all right, it's back in play. And they even were offering, and I don't think they're offering it anymore, but maybe they are, $20,000 ludicrous package for free. But now there are rumors, and probably relatively solid rumors, that there will be another refresh. It's definitely going to be in an interior. That's something that we've all known, but a lot of us don't like that interior. On top of that, now there are rumors that will actually be an update to a battery. So that's something that, once again, people thought that it got updated, but now there might be another one. And there are even rumors there might be some updates to the exterior. So this is really tough because I know a lot of people like, not a lot, but the good number of people like that Tesla is consistently innovating, they're consistently putting out their latest tech. But for those of us who, just want to get a car and just be happy with it in terms of like Can it not get outdated the next day? And I know people like give examples of, your phone gets outdated very quickly. Yes, but we're still, the lifespan of a phone is a little bit shorter, and that's kind of accepted that, half a year to a year is when your phones get updated to the next version. But for the cars, we're used more to a traditional 5 to 7 year run, not a 3 month or 6 month run. On top of that, don't forget, even phones. When you get an iPhone X, those specs are not going to change, until they come up with the next version of the phone. That's not the case with Tesla, and I think that's what's keeping a lot of people like myself from buying it, especially knowing that the refresh is coming up within the next few months. All right, so let's talk about the Model 3, because a lot of people say, Alex, you should just get about Model 3. All right, so I'll tell you my reservations about that, but before that, I'll tell you about my actual reservation, of the car that's going to be on the market next year, of my sponsor, and that's the M-Byte. All-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe at the end of next year. Look how fast and easy I simulated my reservation there, under 60 seconds, and mainly because there is no payment form. It's $0 to reserve one. You should join myself and over 50,000 people who've done so. Go to the description of this video to get your button today. All right, so let's talk about the Model 3. And there are some things the Model 3 just kind of bother me, because they're just kind of either, it's just almost, I don't want to say cheap, but just really basic. The door handles. Oh, the door handles just kill me. They just kill me. I wish they would just had regular door handles. And I know it's all about aerodynamics. I totally get it. But just the fact that you kind of push it and it comes out and you kind of drag it out. The first time I saw it, a few years ago, I hated it from the very beginning. I thought, well, maybe I can get used to it. No, I can't. That's just a little too cheap for me. And on top of that, once again, very simplistic. A lot of people like it, but for me, it's way too simplistic. I do want my speed and a few other things be displayed in front of me. And I don't even care if it's the display behind the wheel or it's projected as a heads-up display, but just having my eyes taken off the road, down and then to the right, is just a kind of tough pill to swallow. And I know they've done an amazing job with the user interface, but call me an old grumpy man, and I know some of you will definitely will. But that's just, I need that thing, and it does bother me. I know the price is pretty good if you go with a stripped out version. The Standard Range Plus, this is something that is everything I want for myself. I am going to opt out, even if I was to get a Tesla, I'm going to opt out from the full self-driving package, because it's not full self-driving, not even close. And the features that they do have right now is amazing that they are. I've given Tesla a lot of props for what they finally done this year with their software, and I know there's more amazing things to come. They're not practical for me, for two reasons. One is I'm not going to summon my car from the parking lot, because you still have to hold the button. It's very, very slow. It's much faster to just walk to the damn thing. And I rarely use it for self-driving on the freeway, because to me, if you have to keep your eyes on the road and hands on the wheel, I might just as well drive it myself. People disagree with me, but we're just talking about me. So Model 3 just doesn't work for me. Now, I've been a Audi e-tron reservation holder for a while, and I was almost very confident I was going to get it. And I would have already had it last month. My turn came in last month, and I just decided to pass. I knew it wasn't going to be as great as a Tesla. I mean, it's just from the very beginning I said, the e-tron is just not going to be a better car. Yes, there are some features in there that I think are better than Tesla's. The reason I wanted the Audi was obviously because of a better ownership experience, better build quality, better part availabilities, cheaper insurance, shorter repair rate times, especially if you get in an accident, and all that stuff that's really not part of the car itself, but part of the ownership experience. And I still like the car. I just decided that I'm not going to pull a trigger right away. I have a Facebook group for e-tron owners. I'm monitoring it. I think it's the fastest growing. It's the biggest one right now for English speaking, at least. There's one in Norway, but it's not in English. that's grown way faster than me and but than mine. So I'm gonna monitor that because there's already a couple of issues, and that's okay. I get it. They're not gonna get it perfectly. And I'm glad that the way they're handling the recall, the recent recall, that's great customer service. I'm definitely very pleased with it. But I'm just not ready to get that one. And also another thing, and I know this is just for me. This is probably nothing that you guys have to consider. But you know, if I'm going to get maybe another sponsor, another car manufacturer, I would I don't promote brands on my show that I don't personally believe in, or at least a customer. And so let's say, let's just say, I'm not saying anything's going on, but let's say Kia was to sponsor my channel with their Kia Niro EV. I would like to put my money where my mouth is and go and get a Kia Niro EV. So I'm promoting a car that I believe in and I'm driving. So that kind of also falls into what I would like to do as far as what my choices are. So might as well talk about Kia Niro. It is probably one of the best non-Tesla cars out there, if not the best. It's I've driven in January before they actually went into production for the US. A great car. It's not a luxury car, but it's got everything that the car needs. I actually like the exterior. I'm not a big fan of SUVs, but I do like the exterior a lot. It's got a lot of good, comfortable stuff on the interior. Even the self-driving assist features is something that I really like, how it just kind of gently lets you keep yourself in the lane and just gently suggests that might be hitting another car next to you. And a few other features that I liked. The pricing is amazing. Obviously, $7,500 tax credit is in full effect here in the United States, so that helps as well. And of course, let's talk about Hyundai Kona EV. Now, it is a smaller car, but for me, it might just actually be even better than Kia Niro because it's a smaller car. It goes further on the charge. So Kia Niro EV with just me and Tom of Inside EVs, Tom Malogny, discovered that the EPA range has been very, I wouldn't say, well, I guess generous, right? But you can drive that Kia Niro EV for over 300 miles, and I think the same case is with a Hyundai. So the range is amazing, the price is great. Definitely something to consider for people who don't want to spend 50, 60, $70,000 on their electric car. Let's move on to Porsche Taycan. I guess honorable mention because it's not on the market yet. It will be the first real competitor to the Model S. The price is, at first when they announced saying, well, it's going to start at 85,000, I think Tesla used to start at 69 at that time. I was like, yeah, that's a little too much. But now that Tesla also starts around the same price, and it may not be for me because I think this car is mainly for people who really like driving fast cars and taking them on the racetrack. That's not something I'm really into, but I will definitely consider it, especially with the pricing. Their CEO yesterday said that they're kind of sold out for the rest of this and the next year in the United States, but honestly, my experience says if you want one, you'll get one. They'll always have a few models that are like cancellations, or they'll just send some demo cars. I'm not really worried about it anymore. Um, Jaguar I-Pace. I considered it at first. Then I was like, nah, don't like it. And I think I really hated the steering wheel, especially. I mean, I still do, but now that it's out there in the market, we don't hear that many problems really. They did have another recall the other day, but it's still one of the most beautiful electric cars out there for sure. And it is luxury inside. It's small, which I like because I'm not a big fan of SUVs, and this is kind of a half SUV, half sedan, I guess. They do have good leasing prices, so it's kind of back on my list. I'm not gonna lie. I really, it's back on my list, and I wish I also have a better relationship with the brand. They've been such jerks to me. It's like I know I want to put my professional life aside if I'm making a personal choice, but man, I wish they would be nicer. EQC is coming out at the end of at the end of this year. So I have ridden in this car. It's another really good competitor to e-tron and obviously to any SUV, including the Model X. A lot of people are not that crazy about it, but I gotta tell you, It is not a bad car at all. Extremely quiet. If you want a quiet experience, I think one of the things that I'm the most proud of is the fact that it's really quiet. And I love the way it looks. I think out of all cars, maybe with the exception of I-Pace, as far as SUV is concerned, I like the way this SUV looks the best. It's a Mercedes, but it's a new Mercedes. I like the interior. It's still luxury, but modern with a screen that's spread out, just like with any other Mercedes. So I am a fan. I'm definitely a fan. So we'll see what they're going to end up with as far as the pricing is concerned and how they roll it out, but definitely something to consider. Now, of course, we're going to talk about Nissan Leaf. It's a great car for the money. You can upgrade the range to 225 miles if you don't like the 151 mile range. That could be enough for a lot of people. I'm not on the market for this one, I have to say. I'm not. And of course, there's Chevy Bolt EV. I don't like the look, but I gotta tell you, we have this gig. Oh, I should have pulled the picture. We have this gig car share here in Sacramento, and this is the largest car sharing fleet in the entire country. They have 260 cars, and they're all electric. They're all Chevy Bolts. Now, what they've done is 255 of them are black. And they put their gig blue logo on both sides, and then they put the ski rack or whatever snowboard rack on top of it. What do you call it? Roof rack, right? Yeah. And also it's painted in blue, so the whole dynamic of the car has completely changed. It looks taller, so it looks more like a compact SUV rather than a four-door hatchback. And the two-tone black and light blue or blue colors are making it look kind of cool. So I gotta tell you, I'm kind of digging the Chevy Bolt with those colors with that modification. So yeah, so I would consider that one if I just get to drive the gig car. But the Nissan Leaf, once again, a great car, especially on the budget. I would say this is the cheapest, especially in the United States. I think it's head and head as far as the cheapest electric car choice, with a decent range with Renault Zoe in Europe, which just got announced for the next year. So overall, we have tons and tons of choices, and I absolutely love it. Now I'm going to go into the Q&A section. I'm going to catch up with your comments and see what you guys are saying. But I'm still undecided. And I'm still undecided. By the way, let me know in the comment section in the live chat. Do you guys think I should wait until maybe I get another sponsor or two that are automakers and make sure that I'm driving their cars, so I'm not, let's say, driving an Audi and advertising a Mercedes? I just feel it would be a little bit weird, even though I can buy all of the cars that I think are good out there. But I would really kind of prefer, again, to put my money where my mouth is. Anyway, so let me catch up on some of the comments. Oh my God, there's a lot. Oh, people are watching from all over the world. Scotland, Austria. Oh, no, we don't have any kangaroos here. Get it. John, Michigan, go Wings. Nebraska, Dag Am, how are you? One of the top super chat donation in the other day. John Dag P says, I think this year. Oh, they're talking about the John Pagani says, Electric have said that Tesla has a series of surprises for the second half of the year. What are people's thoughts on what this most likely to be? They're not really surprises. I know they named the article this way, and I've read it. It's more of like, what are the things that Tesla is going to be unveiling later this year. So I mean, obviously, like the truck, the pickup truck, it's going to be surprised what it looks like, but we know they're unveiling it. So the event itself is probably not going to be a surprise, but it's a surprise that we're waiting for. Let's see. Colin says, if you start pitching the Byton again, obviously this channel is unbiased. Man, I'm so tired of addressing these dumb comments. And I'll tell you why these are dumb. I feel like these people who say, Alex, how can you be unbiased if your channel is sponsored by a car manufacturer? I don't think, and in every video, by the way, there's a link to the explanation that is specifically made for people like that. So if you have a question like that, you can literally click on that link and it's going to be dumbed up for you. But if you want me to do it one more time, I will gladly do it again. Because I take pride in being unbiased. As a matter of fact, Byton takes pride of sponsoring a channel that's unbiased. If I would stop being Unbiased, this would just, my audience would leave, as they should, because why? And then Byton would not get any airtime. So Byton knows every single contract that I signed with a sponsor, including Byton's, says that specifically a sponsor does not have any control over my content. And again, Colin, my friend, do you understand how advertisement works? I can't talk to you like a child, but I feel like I do. When CNN, for example, takes money from Geico or Allstate, they just buy a 30-second or 60-second spot and they put their, advertisement there. They don't affect the stories that CNN or whatever Fox News does on the insurance industry, or specifically Geico or Allstate if they're in the news. This is a very similar situation, if not identical. Byton buys airtime here in a space over there of the real estate that you're looking at. They don't buy my opinion. There are tons of examples also. If you have some time, go through my library and you will see there are tons of examples where the video is sponsored by a brand and yet the video is kind of kicking their butt. So I've done that before. I will continue to do this again. The reason I picked Byton as my sponsor is because I almost never have negative stories about them, because I really like the brand and I think they're doing well. That's why you really won't find that many negative stories about Byton, but I have done them. So please get yourself educated with my work, and that way you won't say silly things like this, Colin. But thank you for your comment. All right, let me move on. Things like this, you probably, guys, I know what becomes, Alex, why are you so bothered by this? Just move on. These people are trolls. But it does bother me because I take pride in my work, and I take pride in being unbiased. Anyway, hard to get into on a budget. Model 3 best to buy now, says Richard. Again, I don't know. Model 3, they're okay. Another thing I didn't mention about I lease my cars. I think it's the best way to own the car from the beginning for a few years until the warranty expires and then move on. Model 3 has one of the worst, if not the worst, leasing rates. It's literally a same priced Kia, and I did this report I think a few weeks ago. Could be different now, but at that time I compared the same priced Kia Niro EV and the Model 3, and it's literally $100 a month difference in payment. That's a lot. That's like 25%. Kia Niro EV is a great for those with families, says TWCZ3. Absolutely agree. And it's a hatchback, obviously. And it's pretty roomy, and it's SUV. I really, really like it. And I think it's a looker as well. Let's see. Let's move on. Mr. Phoenix for Life says, as rear-wheel drive long-range Model 3 cannot be ordered anymore since 1 week ago. Not sure if there is a best buy. Yeah, they've discontinued that, I think, this week, right? Or last week. Martin S. is also a fan of Niro EV. I agree. Richard Moore, Nitro. I'm assuming you meant Niro is okay, but charges slow at 70 kilowatts. I don't know. Okay, what would you? I believe you're wrong. I don't think it's 70 kilowatts. I think it's 100 kilowatts. I'm pretty sure it's 100 kilowatts. So I think you're wrong over there. Stephen James says, if I sign up for Byton for free, do I get the car for free? No. You still get a great deal because they start at $45,000, and that's before the incentives. I think it's already a great deal for that car. But I also believe they're the only ones that are, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the only ones that don't take money for you to get a reservation, which I also find pretty cool. Pool 1919 YouTube channel. Tesla sounds like an awesome car. I'm learning about Tesla and I'm kind of getting into it. I think Tesla is a good car. It's a great car. It's the best car on the market, period. So hard to call me a Tesla hater though when I say stuff like that, but it is the best car on the market. I myself had a really bad ownership experience, and that's what kind of made me go away from the brand. And I think I see more and more customer service complaints as I approve the posts in my Tesla owner group that's now over 30,000 members. So that's something that definitely needs to be fixed. If you're into ownership experience and customer service, Tesla is a tough brand to deal with. And I see, especially right now, I think in the last week, what I'm especially hearing from people being frustrated with them is that they try to call them for help, and they either don't reply if it's email, don't pick up the phone if it's a phone, or keep you on hold for such a long time. A lot of people are like, I gotta go. I have like kids and family and a job, so I can't be on hold for this long to figure out a problem with my car. So that's been a problem with them. And at the same time, also there was a report I think from Electric that they've been letting go customer service people, which is insane, I think. Um, let's see. Brian won NMS. Brian won NMBSC. Have you considered the 1985 Yugo? No. And now that you mentioned it, I still will not. Doug Fry says, I've got my sights set on the Tesla Model 3, but I'm afraid that the infrastructure charging. Any suggestions? Well, actually, the 99% of infrastructure that you need to worry about is in your house. So if you have a charging station or outlet or whatever, you can install one. That will take care of your 99% of your charging needs. The only way you need to worry about it when you're out and about is when you travel long distance. But the supercharger network, Tesla supercharger network, pretty much around the world is very, very solid. You pretty much can go anywhere now and supercharge your car. Now, granted, you'll wait for about 45 minutes or so every time to refill your battery, but the infrastructure is definitely there, and it's been there for a couple of years now for sure. As a matter of fact, the infrastructure for the rest of the cars are now almost in place. By the end of this year, it's also going to be very comfortable for the US, Canada, and European owners who are non-Tesla owners. Though in Europe, Model 3 can also charge there as well for the Ionity. I'm talking about the Ionity network. Let's see. TWCZ3, did you see the Model 3 Truckla? Reach rebuilds helped out. Yes, I see it all over the place. I'm not going to do a story about it because, that YouTube already has a video about it, which is really all you need to see. I mean, it's cool. I don't like the look. I don't know if you guys do, but it's cool that they did it. It was interesting to see how they did it. But if Tesla would come out with a pickup truck like that tomorrow, I think they will go bankrupt, honestly. They won't sell too many of those, I don't think. Paul Sanchez Riviere says, Alex, since you already have a car, just wait for the Byton. It will allow you to give us all the details, and your sponsor will love that you went with it. Well, yes, I will be getting a Byton, but that's, don't forget, it's about a year and a half from now. So, and I don't know, like if there will be delays, but there are maybe, let's say there are delays and maybe tariff issues. Then we're talking about 2 years from now, and I'd like to have a all-electric main car until then. But yeah, I will definitely. I mean, I'm a fan. People forget I've been a fan from like day one when they've unveiled the car, and it wasn't until 2 months ago when they became sponsors. So I'm not a fan of Byton because they're sponsors. They're sponsors because I'm a fan of Byton. A lot of people miss that. Richard Moore says, e-tron a turd refers to the fact that if you say that in French, e-tron, it means a turd. And Elon has done that. 204-mile range starts at 75K. I think 204-mile range, even though it's disappointing, it's more than enough for you and me, Richard, actually. I don't know. How many miles do you drive per day? I drive about 50. So I wouldn't have to charge that car for a while. Don't forget that also their battery has a buffer. So that's another thing. Again, don't get me wrong, it's disappointing. It started at 75,000. I think it's worth for the build quality and the customer service. And don't forget, unlike Tesla, they still do have the $7,500 dollar tax credit. And in many states, you get about $2,500 also back. In states like California, there are some limitations. So essentially, it starts with 65,000, where I believe the Model X would start at almost 90. So that's not a bad. And by the way, I believe it's the only electric car right now you can go off-roading in. So if you're into that, then you don't even have a choice. This is the only car in the market. And Richard, I'm quite perplexed when people who are electric car fans, I'm assuming you are bringing down the rest of the electric cars. Now, one thing, if they're doing something irresponsible, for example, if they didn't do the recall and cars started to catch on fire, like yes, absolutely, I would be on their butt. The fact that they wouldn't be, let's say, showcasing them in their showrooms in favor of gas cars, yeah, I would be on their butt for that. But competition is good. Competition is good. So Richard, if you're still around, let me know why such need to, especially, kind of get on another electric car. Like if you want to make a negative comment about a car, how about a Toyota Corolla or a Hummer or a GM, truck or whatever? Like there are quite a few other cars we can criticize for not being electric at all. So let me know where is that coming from. Mike says the best term I've heard for the Model 3 is that it's an appliance car. Mine feels that way. It's an interesting way of looking at it, actually. Appliance car. Okay, maybe expand on that, Mike, if you don't mind, because I'd like to hear it, because it's the first time I hear this concept, and you may not be wrong. I think you're right. So let me tell me a little bit about that. Stephen James says, Alex, I can't understand what you want. You don't like Tesla because let me just stop you right there. I don't say I don't like Tesla. You're just wrong already. But okay, I'll keep reading. You don't like Tesla because of the after sales, but you don't like the other cars because they're not a Tesla. Jesus. Yes, those are not mutually exclusive things. I mean, I keep making this argument quite many times, and I don't know. Let me break it down again. Tesla is the best car. They make the best cars out there. But just because you have the best car doesn't mean you have the best ownership experience. For example, if you get a car accident, even a minor one, there's a pretty good chance, and that happened to me a couple times, that you have to wait for many weeks for the parts. A lot of times your insurance company stops paying for your loaner car. A lot of times you end up driving a gas car and having to pay for gas. And a lot of times it's a lot of hassle. A lot of times body shops might say, we don't want to keep this car while, Tesla is, making us wait for parts. So, and on another hand, if there's a problem and you have to be on hold for an hour and a half with a customer service, that's a bad customer service experience. So I don't like Tesla for that. I love their cars. I think they're great. The build quality could be better, and quite a few other things could be better, but overall, I think they're best cars. My love for other cars, electric cars like Audi e-tron and the upcoming EQC and Kia Niro EV are not because they're best cars. They're not. But because of the build quality, because of the better customer service, because of better parts availability, which means lower insurance costs, because of the lower pricing and better lease deals. So they're not mutually exclusive. I'm a fan overall of electric car revolution, but I also have to be critical of things that are maybe not up to par yet. And so it's customer service with Tesla, and it's some of the way how some of the other electric cars are built. But I'm being critical and complimentary, I feel like, equally. So I never said I don't like Tesla. I mean, you can't say that somebody doesn't like Tesla when I literally bought 3 of them. And the first one that I bought way ahead of you probably, and any other YouTuber or social media influencer out there. So kind of silly to say I don't like Tesla. But please understand, they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. Let's see. Ricky Sharp says, used Model S or a new Model 3? That's a tough one. I think at this point, the used Model S are so outdated, and I'm going to make a video about it actually later after this, that new Model 3 just will give you a faster charge rate by far, like double or triple, and that alone is worth it, I think. Obviously, they have much better full self-driving features if you're into that, and if you're looking to upgrade, that's for sure. He says, I need to get a new car as I was in an accident recently. Sorry to hear about that, and I hope you're okay. I wanted to join the electric movement. Now is the time, so which one do you think? Man, I like Model S much better, but if you're picking between, let's say, 2-3-year-old Model S and a brand new Model 3, it just depends, right? They will essentially come up with the same price. If you want toys and technology and full self-driving, definitely Model 3. If you don't care about that, then Model S. If you really travel a lot and you don't like sitting in the supercharger for 45 minutes to an hour, but 20 minutes will make a big difference, then a Model 3. If you don't travel much or you don't mind hanging out at 45 minutes to an hour at the supercharger, then Model S. right? So if you want to lease a car, then obviously Model 3. If you want to buy a car, you don't want to lease, then Model S. So this is a very personal choice, but it's a tough one. It's got much tougher than before. Xanad Varga says, have you tried Byton? Did you drive one? I've been behind the wheel of Byton many times. Been driven in one a few times. They do not let journalists, and even though I'm a brand ambassador, I have not been behind the wheel driving it yet, because these are all prototypes and they don't let regular common folk drive them. I will be looking at a dozen of prototypes that are now in the United States and part of their fleet here, testing the cars next week. No, actually this week. This week, yeah. So I don't know if I'll get to drive it, maybe on the property, but it's an amazing experience. I have to say, riding in one was amazing, and it was a prototype, like alpha prototype. Now these are real prototypes, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's say, is e-tron nationwide? Well, e-tron is actually worldwide. You can get e-tron in Europe, in the United States, and in Canada. They're available right now. Let's see. 79 Be Nice says the only EV to buy right now is Tesla. Why, you ask? Range, updates, and charge stations. I disagree with 2 out of those 3. Range is great on Kia Niro EV, almost realistically almost 300. Same thing with Hyundai Kona EV. You will also have Taycan at the end of the year with the same range. So there is competition there. Updates, agree with you. The rest of the world so far is way behind on that. As you know, e-tron had an issue. No, I think iPace had an issue. One of those had an issue that's fixable. I'm pretty sure it's iPace. That's fixable with an update, and they still had to get the cars into the dealerships. So that's not a good. But okay, the third one is charge stations. Okay, I will give it to you for another half a year. But Electrify America and Ionity in Europe, by the end of this year, they'll be pretty even. With Tesla superchargers, definitely in terms of how many CCS charging port compatible cars out there versus how many locations they have. They're never crowded, especially right now. They can charge your car at a higher rate, 100 kilowatt higher than Tesla superchargers can, even the V3. I'm talking about V3, right? And they are pretty much covering, but will definitely cover by the end of the year, all of the major pathways throughout the United States and Europe. So 2 out of 3 are going to be wrong very soon, if not already, but FYI. See, this is the thing. I feel like people who are really into Tesla, they really like know what's happening around their bubble. But there are a lot of exciting. This is a very exciting year, and this is the year where Tesla is going to be losing ground to a lot of other brands in charging networks and solar product makers. You just have to poke that outside of your bubble, and you'll see that's actually very, very exciting. Or you can subscribe to this channel. Either way. Let's see. Let me try to catch up. TWC Z3 says, I was so disappointed in the backseat room in the Model 3. I'm 6 foot and I had to crawl to get in. It is a compact car, man, and you're a pretty big guy. So it is, I think that's pretty reasonable. I think that's normal. Mike says, I'm 6'4". We got some tall viewers, and I have never ever tried to sit in the back seat of my 3, says Mike. Wise decision. Okay. John Gordy says, I'm holding out for the Rivian T1. I'm assuming you are R1T, but whatever, their pickup truck. It's going to be a while. I'm assuming you're also a reservation holder, but it's going to be a couple of years. It's going to be an amazing car. I can't wait to see them and drive one myself, actually. I'm not a pickup truck type of a guy or off-roading type of guy or what they call overlanding, but definitely an amazing vehicle, an amazing company. Ricky Sharp says, I really like the Model 3, but I'm trying to see if the Model S is worth it for a used one. Let me know what you decide. Like, this is such a personal decision and a tough decision nowadays that I feel your pain. KW Bina says, I say Model 3 or S, a long-range model. All right, that's let us know why, but that probably is not a bad decision. Eco Kids, good to see you again. I'm losing my voice now. Hi everyone, only car to buy in 2019 is Tesla Model 3. All other EVs delivery will be over 8 months. Delivery Jag doesn't have efficiency, neither does the e-tron. So I disagree. First of all, you can pick up an e-tron. Even right now, they have a few floor models that they're selling. Jaguar, you can do the same. Kia Niro EV and Hyundai Kona, you can do the same if you look for one. So that's not really true about availability and deliveries. As far as efficiency, honestly, I don't care. I don't think consumers care about efficiency. I think consumers care about the range that you get for the money and how fast you can charge. So, and as disappointing as 204 miles is for the e-tron, and I think it was like 210 or 220 for I-Pace, it is more than enough for most people. I'd say 99% of people who drive cars, and definitely me. So I think that also is not really an issue. And again, efficiency is more for nerds like us. Like, I care about efficiency as an entertainment kind of a deal, right? And yes, e-tron has been awful, and so is I-Pace. But by the end of the day, people don't care about that. They just care about range. That's what they really care about. So yeah, efficiency is definitely linked to range, but 200 miles is more than enough. But yeah, they definitely dropped the ball there. Eric Burnett says, does the dual motor 3 regen more than the real wheel drive? It's an interesting question. I want to say yes, but I don't know, so I shouldn't say anything. Maybe someone else in the chat room knows, so maybe you guys can jump in. As long as you know for sure, please. Mike says, I wish the Model Y could be just 10% bigger. Wider, longer rear seat room. I was in the rear seat of a rear seat in a Model Y, and there were 3 of us. And I felt pretty fine. I mean, I'm not a tall guy, I'm 5'8", but still, I felt like there was plenty of room still. But yeah, it's much roomier inside than you think, actually. I think Elon mentioned it last time during the shareholder meeting. Ricky Sharp says, so I found a 2014 Model S 85 with Autopilot 1 for 41,000 and free supercharging. Let's see, is this a good deal? Depends on the mileage. Depends on the mileage. If it's 41,000, I wouldn't say it's an amazing deal unless it's like super low miles, but it's decent. Or a Model 3 Standard Range Plus for 39,000. Brand new, right? Again, I can't make that call, man. This is because it depends. Just like I said, especially those parameters, the self-driving and the charging. Dominic Licavali says, no issues with charging with a Tesla. See my post above yours. Okay, you guys are just talking among yourselves, which is great. Ooh, I just lost it. I just sorry, I scrolled way too much and I wanted to catch up. Dag M says, I don't see Alex telling Byton that I don't see Alex telling anyone that Byton is better than any other brand. I'm not. I personally big fan, but we'll see once the cars are out there. And there's no such thing as better. I keep telling you, it depends on what you need. If you're looking for a compact 2-door car, Byton is a horrible car for you, right? But if you're looking for full-size SUV when you love flat screens, then it's the best car for you, right? I can only tell you about the car. And I can only tell you that you can reserve it without having to put your money in there. And after that, it's your decision. This is why I'm not pushing it on you. I'm just saying, I'm in, 50,000 other people in. Here's how simple it is to make a reservation. Here's about this car. I've made many videos about it, and I consistently keep you guys updated. But it's up to you to decide. I never say you should buy it. I think you should reserve it. So by the time they're out, that you're at least in line. But I'm not going to say you should buy it. Because at least I want to drive it myself, and then we'll see. All right, Eagle Kid says all these competitors cannot deliver apart from Jag and e-tron, which are worse than 2012 Model S. These general statements are just not true, and You got to give me some details. What you just said is not true, unfortunately, Eco Kids. I'm sorry. Tony Bulai says Bolt is a good car. Again, it depends on what you mean, right? Tell me, what do you like, and is affordable one. I don't think it's as affordable anymore, because there are many cars that are cheaper than that, but kind of feel like with the same options, like even a Nissan Leaf and a Kia Niro EV. Uh, Bolt looks ugly to be compared to Model 3. This is the first time I agreed with you, Eco Kids, but like I said, to each its own. Some people really like the look of the Bolt, and some really don't like the look of the Model 3. Mike says then I'd go for the 3. Charging at home is so cheap that you might as well go for a safe, better handling car. Let's see. Ken Edwards says Elon and I, like your best friends, can't wait for the rest of the industry to catch up to my 2012 model SP85. They already have. Just look outside of the bubble, Ken. Ricky Sharp says, I'm really considering the Model 3. I've wanted it for a while. Go for it, man. If you love the car, go for it. Just, again, don't expect the best customer service, but go for it. Richard Moore says, Leaf uses air cooling or battery, off battery, which reduces battery life. It is true in theory. They're saying that overall it is not true, and they're putting a pretty good warranty on their battery. So especially if you're leasing for 3 or 4 years, that probably won't make any difference right now for you. But if you're getting a used one in another 2 or 3 years, yeah. EMC squared, go for the Polestar 2. I definitely would consider it. I like it. Let's see. Mike Mellock says, don't address it. You have done it enough. Was it the Byton thing? Yeah, it bothers me. I address it way too much. But I get a lot of this, essentially trolls. And I don't know. That one thing bothers me because, if I've always been taking pride in being unbiased and having an independent opinion. Let's see. Brian Millen says, my Kona Electric is consistently getting 310 to 347 miles per charge. I can see that, man. People think it's crazy, but I've driven the I didn't drive a Kona. I drove the Niro, and then Tom Malogny, who is has a segment on this channel on Fridays. He just finished his Kia Niro EV week-long test drive, and he's claiming 300, and that one doesn't have as good of a range as a Kona, right? So I can totally see that. Impressive when I was initially hoping to get 258 miles. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just kind of trying. Used Tesla Model S inventory. You know what? It's been really depleted lately. I check it every day, actually a few times a day, and it's been pretty empty. Dagam says, I think the Chevy Bolt is underrated. I know the look is not the best, but if the car is good as the Volt, it will be a great buy. First of all, I love the look. I definitely love the look. As a matter of fact, I wish they would have had the Bolt technology in the Volt, and that would be gold. I would definitely get one for sure then. It's definitely underrated. I think it's a great car. I don't know another Volt owner who doesn't love the Volt, and I love the Volt, and I'm used to a Tesla, and I love my Volt. So it has some features that Tesla doesn't have, and I made a video about it. Dagam says, Alex, I will disagree with you. A car is as good as the customer service they provide. Well, I mean, we're not disagreeing. I agree. But see, here's the thing. It's a philosophy thing, right? Because if I just take the Model S, if somebody delivers a Model S to my house right now and I drive it, it's the best car out there, right? If I'm just concentrated on the car, it's like saying is a supermodel will make a good wife, because everybody wants their wife to be good looking, right? But the thing is like, yes, you can say, yeah, she would if she's also a good person and you mesh with it, your personalities match and all that stuff, right? It's kind of the same thing. The Model S, the Tesla, is a great car on its own. And if that's all you want and you don't care about what happens afterwards or customer service or whatever, then that's a car for you. But if you're like me and you, I'm assuming, and we actually want care and ownership experience, then it's not a good car for you. So like everybody has a different sort of concept of what a good car is, right? And a lot of them don't include customer service. I think most BMW drivers don't care about customer service because like BMW service is pretty known for being pretty poor, and yet people love BMW in their cars. So I think it's just a matter of philosophy. But I think me and you are on the same page there. Mitranes Nacho says, "Hi all, we are thinking about buying a Sona Scion. Does anybody know something about the car?" Interesting choice. I don't know much. I mean, I've seen reports about it, but tell me why you're looking at it versus, Tesla or many other cars we just discussed. I'm kind of curious. Um, EcoKid says charging speeds is all nonsense. Forget this kilowatt nonsense and start using from 20 to 80 charging time. I disagree with that too. I actually think what we should really concentrate on is how much time does it take to add up 100 miles? I feel like adding 100 miles of actual driving to a car is a good measuring tool. If you travel long distance, a lot of times 100 miles is usually what it takes to get to the next fast charging station. 100 miles is something that's very safe for everybody to get to drive for the entire day. So how much time does it take me to charge my car to get 100 real life miles? I think that's a real measuring tool. That's what we should get, because 20% to 80%, that means nothing. Of which battery? My Volt can charge pretty quickly, I think, from 20 to 80% of my tiny little battery, but it's only going to get me an extra 30 miles. Where the same thing, if I'm talking about long range Tesla Model S Raven, that's like 250 miles, no, 200 miles, right? So there's no context there. John Gordy says, playlist is Electrify America putting stations in Missouri. If not, Tesla has the only charging station within 25 miles of May. Electrify America is going to be everywhere, and they're already, I've reported on them quite extensively. From Ontario, Canada, waiting for a Nero EV, will trade for NBA trophy. That's funny. Efrain Torres says, any thoughts on electric Volvo CX40? No, because I don't know much about that car. I don't think it's all electric though. So I think it's a plug-in hybrid. Mike says Tesla equals best car. Absolutely worst customer service. Love my car, hate their service. We're on the same page. Lies, and passing the buck. Useless. KWA, Benna, any word on Tesla's insurance package? No, I think they're announcing it in the next couple of months. I think Elon mentioned during the shareholder meeting that they're in process of acquiring a small company to get that going. I'm assuming it's all about like having licenses in all states. Maybe they just didn't want to do it themselves and acquired a small insurance company. That's what I'm assuming it's all about. EcoKid says, unfortunately, Byton has not been tested in the market, so you cannot compare it to anything until you can actually buy it. I agree. I mean, a lot of times you can still compare it when the testing has been done, which Byton has not done yet, but they're in the middle of it. Don't forget, they will be on the road in China at the end of this year, just another half a year. So we'll have some measuring tool there. What new things are Byton bringing to the EV industry, says a random person. First of all, there are quite a few different technologies that I've liked. The dashboard that's nothing but a display. I think that's pretty much where we're going with this. They do have gesture controls. I don't know how extensive it's going to be, but essentially where you can just kind of point with your finger and click with your fingers in the air. So I think that's pretty cool. Facial recognition, when you approach the car, it recognizes your face, kind of like your iPhone, and it unlocks the car. That's another thing that I really like, the connectivity and the sort of a mobility that it has, right? You can be watching a movie on TV, then get it on your phone, and then get it into your car display once you're in a car. So they're trying to make sure that your transition from your office or your living room is flawless when you get to the car. Integration with Alexa and many other ways. So crap, I just triggered mine. All right, so yeah, so there are quite a few different things there that they are. And I think the fact that a car that is made in China up to the standards of United States and Europe, that's actually a big deal because we don't know what's going to happen with tariffs, but if cars can be made in China and then imported here without too much of an extra tariffs, that's a major breakthrough, right? Because that we're using, all of our phones are made in China, a lot of our clothes are made in China, just and because of the lower pricing. Same thing might happen with cars, and I think Biden would be one of the first ones to do that. So that they bring in quite a few things that I like. Let's see. Efrain Torres says, I live in Chicago and I want to do a 400 to 500 mile road trip, Model Y alternative. You don't really, so that you can get pretty much anything over 200 miles should be good with Electrify America. Depending on your route, definitely download their app and see if you can map it out, because in some areas they're building their stations faster than others. They should have almost 500 by the end of this year, so check with their map. They have an app now, they just came out. Also, any tips on buying used EV if one decides to go that route? I would never buy a Tesla without a warranty. I would definitely consider used EV because the prices are falling pretty fast on them. Their depreciation is pretty steep, but of course make sure that there's a battery degradation that's not too bad. Let's see. I think you really need to check the Jaguar for us. I would, but they've been such jerks to me that I haven't even actually taken one for a ride yet. Yeah, it's just sometimes these brands are just like jerks to you, and I don't know, for no reason whatsoever. I would test drive it for you guys. I just don't want to go and kiss their butt to get one. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Eco Kid says, I think you should buy another Tesla and pray customer service gets better. Here in Scotland is amazing, better than all the legacy automakers. Yeah, listen, I've heard quite a few Tesla owners saying, hey, I'm having a great experience with customer service. That does happen. It just needs to be for everybody, not just for a few or even half, right? I'm not gonna lie. I am definitely thinking about maybe getting a used Tesla and just holding on to it for a year or two until my choice is much more clear. So that's a possibility. You're definitely right there. Let's see. Julio Garriga says, is the I-Pace a good alternative to any Tesla Model S or X? Yes, it is. It is. It's not going to be as amazing of a car, but it's a good alternative. The build quality, you will definitely luxurious interior, and I'm assuming better customer service, just because you can't get any worse, I think, with Tesla overall. Let's see. Mike explains why he believes Model 3 is appliance car. I finally caught up to those comments. It's very simplistic, minimal, modular. It does the job it needs to very well. The plain interior doesn't thrill like the car itself. It does the job. It's like buying the Vitamix. Okay, interesting. I still think the self-driving technology there is amazing. But yeah, I guess you understand. I mean, I agree. You agree, yes. John Gordy says, do you think the Model 3 could get a software update and extend the range like the Model S and Model X? I think it will at some point, because a lot of it is a matter of technology and matter of software, not the hardware. So I'm sure they'll do it. You can't like drastically increase this, but I'm sure they'll do it at some point by a little bit. I love the used Model S as a frontline soldier. But I'm almost certain I'm going to end up with a Model 3 dual motor long range. Let us know why. Neil Brennan says Model 3 has 11.8 million very wide turning circle. Meters. Very wide turning circle that is wider than the Model S 11.4. Most people don't realize it's actually more awkward to do a tight turns than the bigger S. Interesting point. Richard Moore says, video about best EV car in 2019. Tesla 3 best, Nero and Kona okay with $7,500 tax credit in the US. e-tron is expensive with short range and was reported to lose a massive amount of range in cold weather. Okay, EcoKid says e-tron well named, especially in France. I feel like you're trolling at this point, EcoKids. I really have to say, like you know, yeah. Let me ask you this: have you seen one in person? Have you driven one, EcoKids? Because there are quite a few amazing things inside of the car. Some of the technology is really cool. Oh, he just answered my question. Drove the e-tron and I hated it. Drove it sluggish. However, interior was fantastic. Okay, well, okay. So it's not crap if its interior was fantastic, right? Right? That's a big deal. You're driving on an interior of the car most of the time, right? Um, Sluggish, I'm surprised you say that, but again, to its, I mean, the Audi drives usually handling is very well and tight. Definitely tighter than the, I think, Tesla's, but again, to each its own. Julio Garriga says is the I-Pace a good alternative. Oh, yeah, we already read that. Um, it's a good alternative to other Jaguars, actually, says KWA Bina. I would agree to that. Um, I'm just catching up. Hello, E. Love your show, says Melissa Bedrich. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Video, not channel. Okay. EcoKid says, unfortunately, Tesla pickup will come to market before Rivian. Not sure what you're basing it on. I don't think so. Neil Brandon, there is no overall best. It depends on you, he says. I absolutely agree. Your daily drive, as well as your country, the UK has much narrower roads. CF, I don't know what CF means. USA Nero offers much more appropriate package for UK. Has a hatch. There you go. Mr. Corico 3, how are you? From Portugal. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Neil says both I-Pace and e-tron are selfishly and stupidly too big for countries like UK. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. We have right-hand drive in UK. Bummer, says Eco Kids. Alex, hope you will be at Fully Charged Live in UK next year, says Neil Brandon. I will not be. Yeah, not a big fan of the show in general. I think they could do so much more for the electric car community, but yet they don't. Their channel has really, really popular things that they can do and the amount of videos they can produce, and yet they don't. A lot of times they do a video that was like delayed by a few weeks and it's like almost too outdated by then. And no, I just don't. Listen, maybe I'm missing something. I don't see a reason for me to spend what $2,000, $3,000 in a week of my time to go to a fully charged live event. You know, they if you like, yeah, just I don't see a reason for it. I don't even see a reason to go to Texas. I think that's where they picked out of all places. By the way, they picked I think Texas to do it at, or maybe something else, but. Even if it was in Vegas, I may not even go even if it's in Vegas and it's like a 1 hour flight. I just don't understand why. I literally don't get those guys. So I'm not hating. I just don't understand them. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but I just don't get it. Brian Whedon says someday people will probably start to care about efficiency when running costs come more into play. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying. I mean, people care about the range versus how much money they spend on a car, which essentially is efficiency, right? It's efficiency of how far your money go, like literally, right? So that's what I mean. He goes on to say right now, every EV is so much more efficient than gas, so a switcher doesn't care about details. Ricky Sharp says, I appreciate the help. Alex, the Model S, I found had 39,000 miles on it for 41K. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal, I would say. Not amazing, but not a bad at all. Not bad at all. EcoKid says Model 3 is smashing manufacturing compared to the legacy manufacturers that are getting volume EVs to market. That's what it's all about, saving the planet. Legacy automakers are not manufacturing in volume. They're not manufacturing in volume, but they are behind. They know that they're behind. They need to scale up. But don't forget, they do have much more money and manufacturing abilities than Tesla. So if they're really gonna, and they are already putting billions and billions of dollars into it, they can easily bypass Tesla on that. Range on model S85 is 250 miles approximately. e-tron is 200. Jag is 226. Current model S 370. All true. No, yeah, okay, all true, I would say. Brian says about Bolt, you need to consider that they don't sell for MSRP when considering whether it's affordable. Yeah, they actually have really good discounts. I think I've heard up to $10,000 off of MSRP. But they're still a little too expensive for what they are, I think. But if you find a good deal, then yes. Obviously, that's the whole point of having a good deal. Model 3 is the safest car made. It is proven. Elon Musk, first thing is safety. I am an ex-employee. Safety is number one for his products. It is a very safe car. Absolutely. One of the reasons I bought 3 of them. John asked, when is your Volt lease is up? Mine is up in May 2020. I have 2 more years to go. But I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to sell it. I'll keep it. It can still be a commuter car like it meant to be in the beginning. But even if I sell it, that's fine. Eco Kids says, sorry, Alex, the legacy manufacturers were serious. They would be making them in volume. Lots of politics and big oil involved. Let's have a discussion on reality. I don't think big oil is involved as much. I think it's the fact that they make money on gas cars and make no money on electric cars. So a lot of it's just simply making, just business. They're still figuring out how to make electric cars profitable. That's why they're not making it in a bigger amounts. But I think they are serious just because of the amount of money they're putting into it. I'm agreeing with you 50%, but disagreeing on the other ones. They're just slow because of where they're at. Tesla and Byton and many other startups have a luxury of saying like, we're going full force electric. But listen, if you're a profitable a legacy automaker, it's not that easy, right? And don't forget, they sell their cars through dealerships, and dealerships don't have to get on board with this electric car crap, right? Because they don't make any money on servicing those, and they lose money if they're just selling electric cars. So that's a tough pickle to be in. And there are laws in the United States where you can't just go, if you're a legacy manufacturer, and go to direct sales like Tesla. They're kind of stuck. And they have to continue making money. So you have to understand that. They will come around. It's just a process. Tesla is in a class by itself, quickly closing in on turning the tables on flammable liquid vehicles. As far as range anxiety is concerned, further making explosion engine vehicles obsolete. Agree with Gugadis Botches. Sorry for that. I'm not really good at pronouncing names. Neil Brennan says in Europe, Renault have just released the longer range Zoe, 200 plus miles. Absolutely, I just did a story on that. Yes, I did mention that, and it's on my social media. All my social media has that story and extra footage as well. Let's see. EcoKiss, that's why I was saying, Alex, times not kilowatt output. Okay, then maybe we're on the same page then for once, right? Okay, we can't be just talking to EcoKids, so I'm gonna have to skip some of your comments. All right, someone's gonna get banned. That's fine. And that's that. I'm gonna catch up to some of the comments and skip some because it's 2:15 and I still have to make 2 more videos. By the way, guys, if you want to continue watching me live, if you're a Patreon or if you want to become one, I'll do this every day live on Patreon. I have 2 more videos to make on Patreon right after this. So let me catch up. EcoKid says fully charged has 500,000 subscribers, must be doing something right. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just I don't understand it. That's all. I just don't get it. And I'm not interested in going to their event, but I could be wrong about that as well. If somebody can explain to me, then I'm more than willing to change my mind. I'm all for all of the electric car YouTubers, doing something awesome and collaborating with. Another thing is that I have a problem is fully charged does not collaborate with other YouTubers, which is a shame. This is the only industry where it doesn't happen. They should feature, I have no problems featuring other people on my channel, people who have way less subscribers than me. I mean, forget about me. They should be featuring Nikki all the time. She's great, and they don't, and they suck at doing news. They really do suck at doing. Sometimes their news reports are 2 months behind the actual news. Nikki would be great, like a reporter addition to them, right? Again, forget about me. Like they should be promoting other YouTubers and social media, influencers with all of their power, and they don't. And I think it's a missed opportunity. Jaguar says, Alex, I believe competition is good for business. Get any sponsors you have faith in. I will continue to follow you no matter who you have. Keep up the good work. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, John. I do want to only feature the sponsors that I believe in, though, because my show is, I try to be as honest as I can with you guys and transparent. Chike Ataluka says, I'm still in college. Can't wait to buy an electric car. Good for you. I hate going to the gas stations when I get out of the college in 3 years, and I'm very curious to see how big the EV market is and how many options are out there. Absolutely agree with you. Let's see. Hey, Alex, just joining here from California City. Ulysses says, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm almost done here, but what do you think about Honda's EV cars? That little urban EV, don't like it. Sorry, 120-mile range is just not good enough for 2020. Unless you want to price it at $15,000 to $20,000, then it's like really cheap car. You sacrifice the range. A lot of people will be okay with that. But for the price that I'm hearing they're going to be selling it for, not acceptable. Let's see, which Tesla model battery is best? All about long life. X or Y model will be better. Oh, these are all kind of tough questions. I can't. I don't think anybody can really answer. Fully charged. Worked with Zach and Jesse and Ben Solins. I know, but I'm just saying, featuring somebody permanently, right? Featuring them in one of the videos regularly or like fully. But I haven't seen that in that much. Just giving them a few minutes is just not. They can do better. What I'm saying is they have so much power. They have such a big audience. Why not lift all of the electric car influencers with you? Because if the goal is to promote electric car energy, which they seems they claim to be, then no better way to do that. I've been doing that on my channel. People that I feature all the time do not have a big social media following on YouTube, and I have no problems featuring them as long as they're adding to my show, as long as they're giving you guys value. I think Fully Charged should do the same. Let's see, what I meant is with Tesla, you don't feel range anxiety, and soon as in comparison, people with fossil cars will feel range anxiety, as Tesla will still match and surpass fossil range. To be honest with you, I don't think you need a range more than 300 miles. You just don't drive that much. Even if you take a road trip, can you really drive more than 300 miles, whether it's a gas car or not? I think it's going to be a moot point. Nobody needs a 500-mile range, I think, gas or electric. Let's see. Tech Right, what's going on, man? How are you? A future Tesla owner. Chris G says, hey, Alex, I really want a Tesla Model S only. I'm thinking of getting a new standard range. I live with my parents and make $4,000 a month. If that's before taxes, I would assume it's going to be a very irresponsible decision for you. That is, yeah, I'm sorry. But I'm glad that you're inspiring to get one. You just either have to make more money or get a cheaper car. Otherwise, you just probably not going to be a good financial decision for you. And especially if you still live with your parents, I'm assuming that will not be the case for too long, hopefully. So I would suggest to do one of those two. Nissan Leaf, tell us about it, says Amorsh Dure. I've made quite a few videos about it, so just go to my library and search for it. Let's see. Towie Rodriguez says, what do you think autopilot will be fully, when do you think autopilot will be fully autonomous for a blind person to buy it? That's a great question. So here's the thing. One thing that Tesla is able to make it. Another thing is Tesla able to have it approved by regulators, right? I'd say probably 2 more years for them even for fully autonomous, really fully autonomous Tesla if they continue on with innovation. But maybe another extra year for regulators to catch up. So I'd say 3 years would be reasonable. Um, let's see. What are you most excited, says Chikit Ataluka. What are you most excited for by the end of this year in the EV energy market? I'm excited for all of these electric cars that have been promised to us for a while, and some of them already came out, and some of them are still coming out to be on the market. And I'm excited for them to start competing. I'm excited about legacy brands finally realizing that people want those cars, and they're making them already, so there's no turning back. I'm really excited about people having choices. I'm excited about the infrastructure finally growing and getting very close to acceptable for the non-Tesla owners. I'm excited about just this whole thing is finally coming alive. It's just tons and tons of different things. Yeah. What about an inventory Model S? Yeah, I mean, inventory Model S will always, well, so you're talking about new inventory Model S. I don't know if it's for me, but for now, I'm still thinking. I kind of outlined that already, so I'm still thinking. Let's see. Well, all right, so I think I've caught up to everything, and I gotta tell you guys, it's been almost an hour and a half, so thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna do 2 more videos on Patreon right after this. So I'm gonna go there, and there are a couple of exciting stories. If you guys are a Patreon, thank you so much for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. It is a big deal. If you're not Patreon, that's okay. But maybe you can get on our VIP list. That's something, right? It's free, and we do a bonus story every week. Go to e4electric.com/VIP and sign up. We don't even ask for your name, just an email address, just the basics, you know? So, all right. I really appreciate everything, guys. Don't forget, next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. I'm doing this every week. Thank you for hanging out with me. I don't know the topic for the next one, but I definitely know it's going to be fun. So I will see you guys next time. And of course, remember to stay charged.